This is an aluminum acetate, one side only. Marketing news from Sunday, November 24th, 1968 at 12:15 p.m. by Rockybuilt Systems with guest Mr. Wayne Jewell. This is a 33 1/3.
Good afternoon, everyone. We present KOA Marketing News, the program featuring interesting news and interesting people from the world of business, selling, and manufacturing. Business that affects the Western market area. This is Bob Shriver, your KOA Marketing Editor, and today it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Wayne Jewell. Wayne is Personnel Director of another Jewell, or perhaps I should say Jewels, Wayne, that have graced the Denver skyline for quite some length of time. The Rockybuilt Systems. How long has Rockybuilt been standing here in the Mile High City?
Well, we built our first building. Mr. Chesney built it 33 years ago. It's at 906 East Colfax.
Is that same location still in evidence today?
That is still operating 24 hours a day as it has from the start.
And you have now how many Rockybuilts?
We have 11.
11 throughout the area. Well, I know it well. As we had discussed in some brief earlier conversation, Wayne, I am a native Denverite myself, North Denverite, as a matter of fact. For many years, quite familiar with your Federal Boulevard location, Federal and 38th Avenue. That still is very active today.
Yes, it's one of our best units.
Well, I think the story of Rockybuilt Hamburgers is one of the most outstanding success stories of Denver. Wayne, if we may, let's go behind the scenes, and I'd like to have you acknowledge, if you will, some of the main reasons for the success of Rockybuilt.
Well, first I would say quality products. Mr. Chesney has never bought anything but the best. I remember a sign that we had in the back room of the unit that I first started to work in 38. It says, if you wouldn't eat it yourself or recommend it to a friend, don't serve it. And these signs are still in the stands.
Is that right? Gee, that's an excellent creed to follow, isn't it, Wayne?
Well, I think so.
Quality food, I suppose the personnel themselves would play, would play an important part in your operation.
Yes, we, friendly, courteous service is what we try for, and that has made us a lot of loyal customers, which has been our key to our success.
Well, it seems to me those are some of the best three ingredients for success I can possibly think of, Wayne. Well, Rockybuilt Hamburgers just a little different from the usual hamburgers, and consequently a little bit better.
Well, we think, first, they're fresh, because we do not patty ours in advance. They're smashed out at the time they're ordered, and that way you have no dried edge. They've got to be fresh that way. We fry the onions in. They're pressed into the meat and fried. We think that makes better flavor. And then, of course, we have our own copyrighted sauce, which you can't get anywhere but at a Rockybuilt.
You know, that is distinctive in itself, Wayne, the sauce.
We think so. We have a few customers that don't want it, but 95%, that's why they're there.
Well, after finding the key to the meat as you've described and the special sauce, the formula itself, I imagine the very important aspect of all of this is maintaining this consistently, controlling it properly.
Well, we don't have much problem there. Our supplier, which is Lombardi Brothers, know that we have industrial laboratories that are retained on a yearly basis. They pick this meat up, samples of it, anywhere. We don't know where they're going to pick it up when, and it goes through a lab test about twice a month, and they give the report back. If there's anything other than pure hamburger, which is styrated muscle of beef with 25% suet added, we know it. Our suppliers know this, and consequently, we don't get anything else.
Each of the 11 units themselves are periodically checked by people, too, aren't they?
They pick it up anywhere.
Mm-hmm. You are very proud of the coffee you serve, and I understand another well-known brand name is well evidenced at the Rockybuilt location, Sara Lee's.
Yes, we use their rolls.
How about, well, I suppose really what you've had to say about quality would apply to the breakfast items you serve, the sausage, eggs, bacon.
Right, they're all premium quality. Our eggs are AA. These are guaranteed by our supplier, Moss Brothers, and for any reason an egg doesn't look quite right, it isn't served, and Moss Brothers replace it.
You acknowledged another aspect of the Rockybuilt success, Wayne, the type of people you have working for you. Courtesy, friendliness, of course, these things, I suppose, are somewhat taken for granted in business today. But this has been a very important part of Rockybuilt's success.
Yes, we feel we have a bunch of very loyal employees. Myrtle Stacer on Santa Fe has been with us 26 years. In fact, she's worn out that unit. We're building her a new one.
Is that right? Will this be in the same low area?
It will be in the same block, in the 700 block on Santa Fe.
26 years. Right. Gee, that's wonderful. You have a number of other veterans.
Yes, Arlene Hathaway, who's at our Broadway location as manager, 22 years. Harriet Stevens at the stand we mentioned before, 38th and Federal, 18 years. Vera Abbey, who is semi-retired now, was a former manager. She's working part-time for us yet out by DU, and she's been with us 22 years.
For God's sake.
Doris Malloy at the original location has been with us 15 years.
Most unusual, isn't it? Especially in the restaurant business.
Yes, it is.
Well, in addition to these wonderful people in your organization, I understand too, Wayne, that Rockybuilt has one of the best incentive plans in the area. You have profit sharing, bonuses. Could you elaborate on this for us a bit?
Yes, we allow 1% of our gross sales for wages. Now, in paying out the hourly wage, the set base wage, we don't quite use that percentage. It depends on the amount of business they do. They still get this percentage. Now, the newest person that comes to work shares in this. It is divided by man-hours worked and comes out an hourly rate, which is added to their check. Of course, there are other percent bonuses which are, or pay incentives which are greater for the manager and all. But the newest employee shares to some degree. In other words, the more business they run, the more money they make.
You have a Christmas bonus? That's
we pay 5%
around the corner here now.
5% of the wages they've earned for a year. We have paid every Christmas since I went to work for the company in '38.
Wayne, I would say that's free enterprise in action. Rather refreshing, I think, in today's economy where it seems handouts and as little work as possible seem to be the rule rather than the exception. Another point, too, Wayne, you mentioned customer loyalty. That's been an important part of your success.
It's been very important. I go in these stands every day, and I see people eating at the counters who I served back in 1940 and 41 when I was working behind the counter.
Well, let's reemphasize now, like these other people, you also came up through the ranks. You served the hamburgers, and
I sure did. At $11 a week was my starting salary.
Well, if we're going back a little bit to reminisce, Wayne, may I also acknowledge that at the time, and this was back in the 40s, in my familiarity with your Federal Boulevard location at 38th Avenue, we were buying them by the sack, about, what, a nickel a hamburger?
Yeah, they were a nickel apiece.
So I guess everything kind of flows in the upward direction. Except the quality, that remains, I'm happy to say, the very, very same. In these war years, I know at that time you made a special arrangement with Fitzsimmons Army Hospital here in Denver to use your pancake batter.
Yeah, they wanted our pancake mix, which is copyrighted. Western Bakers mix it for us and supply us, and we let Fitzsimmons Hospital use it during the war.
A lot of other people have tried to buy it.
Yes. Yeah.
They haven't succeeded, have they?
No.
Does Fitzsimmons still have access to it, or that was just during the war years?
They're not using it now. They use it just during the war years.
Well, I wonder if this wouldn't account for why so many of the fellows who were servicemen at that time, and becoming familiar with not only the Rockybuilt hamburgers, but with the pancakes and all, are still good, loyal customers of yours today.
It could be.
And your chili is, I guess, another area, all an entity unto itself, isn't it?
Our chili is also copyrighted, and for years was made only for us. However, Rights Incorporated now have made that available to commercial users. Mr. Chesney is part owner of this company, and the reason for that, he maintained the quality control of our chili.
Well, our sincere congratulations to Roy Chesney, to yourself, Wayne, virtually to everyone within the Rockybuilt system for providing Denverites and visitors to our area with consistently fine quality hamburgers and other delicious food items. Hope that our good listeners who haven't yet done so will stop in one of the 11 convenient Rockybuilt locations. Our thanks to Wayne Jewell, Personnel Director of the Rockybuilt Systems, for being with us today. Thanks, Wayne. That's today's edition of KOA Marketing News, a program spotlighting interesting news and interesting people in the world of business, selling, and manufacturing.
And that's an aluminum acetate available currently at auction at eBay. Look up for Love of Deals. The number 4, LUVOFDEALS.